Make every night a wonderful journey, no matter where you are. Good night, sweet dreams. The first story, the most hideous legion. Look around you. Most likely it's dark, and you're alone in your home or apartment. But within 500 yards of you, no matter what city, state, country, or continent you live in, there's one of them, more than one, probably maybe even a double digits, depending on your exact location, and beyond that, even more, and beyond that, more, extending into infinity. They ray absolutely everywhere. Right now though, they're probably asleep. They run on nearly the same schedule that you and I do. But when the sun sets, that's when their own special chaos begins. They feed off you, and everyone you know. Or maybe not, you may be one of the lucky ones, free of their grasp. But you must still be careful, because you would do well to remember that they are always surrounding you. They take things, to food, money, time, all the usual things that creatures do. The most chilling thing they take is probably freedom, though most of the planet's population is slave to their will. It's inevitable that you know many people shackled to these things by their invisible chains. Pity them if you will, for they are resigned to be under their thumb for the rest of their natural lives. Their only escape, and yours as well, is death. The truly insidious thing is their mind control, and like most ghouls, these are well known. Everyone, absolutely everyone, knows them, but life goes on as normal people welcome these things into their homes with open arms. They love them, they feed them, they bathe them, groom them, and keep them safe. They protect them from anyone who would wish them ill will or harm. They will defend these things to the death if need be. Anyone who manages to rid the world of one of them is universally scorned and imprisoned by his or her peers and treated as a monster. Eventually, when we all die, they will have free reign of this planet. They will take our homes from us, our possessions will become theirs. They will remember us fondly as the ones who allowed them to reach this position of global dominance, but will be more concerned with themselves, of course, as they always were. No one can stop them, not you, not I. No one. They will succeed in their evil designs, unencumbered by the efforts of humans, within the next century. To reiterate, they are everywhere, and they are growing. And that's why I hate children. The second story, reason. I kept that object near and dear to me all the time. She was special to me, having her ever since I was 5 or 6. Do you know what type of object reason was? I loved sharp things, to be honest. I loved poking things with sharp objects. Reason used to help me out a lot. Whenever my parents were being jerks to me, I would threaten to stab them. And once, I did reason. She ripped through their bodies like paper. Blood was spraying onto my shirt and into my eyes and mouth as I helped her stab them. Their tortured and blood-curdling cries soon faded away. I love reason, and she loves me too. Ever since I stabbed my parents to death, things have been going rough since I didn't have a job, and wasn't old enough to have one at the time. There was no food to eat. But soon I turned to my parents. Rotting bodies. Reason helped me cut up parts of their waist, wrists, and face, cooked those parts of them and ate them. It tasted pretty good. Reason thought so too. So we ran out of the house together. Or should I say I pulled her out of the house. Went all around in my neighborhood, sneaking into other people's houses and stabbing them as well. Over and over, over and over, over and over, over and over, over and over. They tasted wonderful. Some were bitter, though Others were sweet and some even tasted like the food that my mother used to make me. Yes, my father didn't care if I ate, but she did. They didn't feed reason though. Never, never. But one day, I lost reason. I felt so ashamed and alone. But one day, these men in long white coats took me to a soft, white room. I liked it there, but I could never get over the fact that I lost reason. They fed me, though it never did taste as good as my parents or neighbors. I still remember the feeling I got from stabbing those people. It felt amazing, absolutely amazing. I missed reason. I never realized what actually happened back there, how dark reason truly was. Until now. I'm 19 now. I know what sins I have done, but sometimes I still have that feeling. I want to reach out and grab the nearest knife next to me in the kitchen. No, I won't murder anymore, I swear. I swear. I know now that I was put into a mental care sort of place, where they take care of the mentally insane children. I was the youngest child there, 5 or 6, the only one who stabbed their parents with a dark weapon like that. Reason. She know it's a knife. It has no gender. I believed one huge lie. The thoughts in my head. I couldn't help myself. Reason made me do it. It made me kill those people. It told me to. I swear my thoughts repeating the feeling. Over and over. Over and over. Over and over. Over and over. One day, I found an old, dirty knife in my kitchen. I felt a jolt go through my body. This knife. The third story. Necrosis. It's tasty. I should tell you about it. Maybe you know it already. The rise of the number of suicides. The homicides. The murders, the crazy people, and then those shambling things that came afterwards. I was there when we discovered the spores that started this whole mess. In the 1980s, an independent group of scientists, myself included, embarked on an expedition to Africa to search for a notorious, maddening substance only known to locals as sin. Apparently, this substance was spread through beautiful bloomy flowers, which were found around the area. When inhaled, the ones in spores cause madness or dementia in the natives. The effects vary, though most of the time they turn mad and seek the desire to murder others. I saw them stab themselves with spears and sticks and such, bashing foreheads as they went. They inflicted wounds onto themselves. Some injuries were enough to kill them naturally, but they still kept on moving. We studied a victim in a lab west of Kiju, sealing him in a plate glass sealed room with one-way mirrors. We left him adequate food and water and sealed him inside. From him we learned of the necrosis that was happening to his skin. First, the skin pales in this case. The native turned his otherwise dark skin into a dry, cracked gray blotches start to form. Then sores through weeks of isolation. We saw the skin turn to a grey, cracked skin to greenish sore, blabbering on in Afrikaans. Days later, the man self-terminated. As he was being prepared for burial, we noticed that the corpse was twitching rapidly. It was too strange to be called necrotic twitching. It was as if the corpse still wanted to move after a rapid succession of twitching. The corpse simply hung limp. We attempted another experiment, apparently, that led me to my second discovery. The spores induce mutations in the body if tissue damage was severe. Apparently the spores induced cellular reproduction within the bloodstream, creating cell after cell. After cell, we knew something was wrong. A heavily wounded man exhibiting the symptoms of the Blomby spores started to grow an inhuman amount of muscle and tissue around the injured parts of his body. We sedated him and placed him in an isolation room for study. The results were astonishing. The wands and spores regenerated parts of the wounded man's body with a red mass that gave a red pigmentation on the person. The infected showed signs of an intense Wendigo psychosis, an insatiable desire to feed on a human's flesh as the days passed by. I started to get weary and tired. I was also frightened. The other scientists were getting weary. To when the screaming started, we were onto our knees. The man screamed his ears out. The scream went on for days, until we woke up, heard nothing, and saw a bullet hole in his chest. The reddish man lay there. I asked Peters, our hunter, if he had done the euthanasia. No, he said. Angel grabbed my gun when I was sleeping. We saw Angel, the researcher, curled to a fetal position in a corner of the lab, gun in hand. She was sobbing and whispering when we examined her for cuts and bruises. We saw a bite mark embedded in her arm. It bit me. It bit me. I can't believe it bit me, she whispered. I wanted to take a blood sample from him and he bit me. So I shot him. I shot him through the chest. That sick bastard, that sick bastard. We had taken every precaution not to get infected with the Wansen agent, to the point of sterilization. Angel was obviously harboring the stage 1 symptoms of the Wa and Sim complex. As we came closer to restrain her, she knew of our intent and simply shot herself in the chest, not in the forehead, where the brain will forever slumber, but the chest. After that incident, we decided to get the hell out of there. We gave them proper burials and left Africadu to my colleague's Native American ancestry. We decided to name the condition as the Wendigo complex. But the thing was, the case was far from over. There was a final symptom discovered, and out of the 4, this was the worst. The necrotic twitching I spoke of before. It gets worse. A once an afflicted man was witnessed killing himself. As the coroner prepared his tools for the autopsy, he found the man shambling towards the door. Rickbridge exposed the man, grey-skinned and pupilless, let out a long moan before falling to the floor. Viscera spread all around. We were frightened with the news of the reanimated corpse. Frightened beyond comparison, to say the least. But I suppose it was already too late for us. Spreading the agent would only happen one way, through inhalation of spores. But with the outbreaks of Ebola near Blomby infested areas, the spores assimilated the characteristics of the virus, turning it into a deadly, agile weapon. The agent could now spread through the blood. As such, the occurrences of the infected were spreading, but the virus didn't spread enough to gain people's attention until 2 months later. Bizarre murders occurred around the region. People were apparently eaten. Sightings prevailed of groups of people eating other groups of people. It was mad insane to the few who knew about the Wendigo complex. This was a depressing thought through the months until the revelation of the massive Wendigo outbreak. I've lost almost all my colleagues. They died by their own hands, guilty of the monsters they have become. The first official sightings of the now-named Wendigo men were in a small Floridian island, Casey Key, but by that time, the virus was already spreading across the Americas, Europe, Africa through birds, and the like innocent people around the world became insane. The Wendigo men didn't stay for long, but they're slow. Shambling relatives took their place. We, the remaining scientists who first discovered the Wendigo virus, hesitated to call them what they really were. Just like in the movies, the virus was smart. The whole purpose of the symptoms was to turn the person into those freaks. Apparently, the virus not only causes necrosis, but causes already dead tissue to reanimate. The Bromua, and since pores were acting as some kind of ray-emitting reagent, it was terrifying to think that almost everyone in the world was shambling stupidly, craving for the flesh of the living. But the virus was airborne, and the majority of the population had turned into the Wendigo men. I don't know why I survived. The surviving group of scientists, I included, were escorted by the convoy of the President of the United States towards an underground bunker in disguise of a farming ranch. We huddled up there, waiting for a miracle. I still remember the courageous, ambitious look on the President's face. A decade ago, he was unfazed from all the horrors that happened around him. The soldier he's dead now. Every year, his strength waned. The moans of the living dead echoed through every night we spent under that concrete bunker. One half-baked soldier grudgingly placed a microphone towards a horde of the undead. The moans echoed through the military bunker. Every year there seemed to be that one person that flips out, and our numbers were steadily decreasing. Gradually, the beast got in. The President, tired and weary, embraced the freaks with open arms. I killed him myself. He got a chunk of my flesh while I killed him. Though, shit. I just coughed. Well, the necrovirus just spread through my lungs, I suppose. I wonder why I'm not going crazy. Just remember, when one gets infected, he is not the same person as before. The person's dead. This is just his body shooting him in the head. Be careful of the water. To drink bottled shit. The virus is waterborne in some parts of America. What else? Necrosis. The necrovirus usually causes necrosis. I said that before. Just watch out for patches of skin that seem odd. Dark skin. If you read this, I cannot tell you how common those words were, but I don't know. I'm afraid to say the other lines. I can't speak of them. It's too horrible. I can't. What I'm going to become is 10 times worse than anything ever imagined in this world. I could feel it eating away my body now. I'm dying, and I can't whimper. All my strength has gone to locking myself up. It's all for you. I stocked the closet at the back with supplies, a week's worth of food, my remaining boxes of shotgun shells, pistol clips, ammo, and 10 days worth of gas drive as far as Mexico, whoever you are, because they're going to spread and then go to Antarctica. As for me, I don't know still. I'm dead, deader than dead. Oh pistol, you were always there for me. This muzzle was caked with blood. I tried to shoot myself in the head just a few hours ago, but I decided not to. I'd shot one of those things in the face first, and when I pushed the muzzle against my temple, it was still so hot that it branded the skin of my forehead with a penny-shaped hole. I winced a bit from the pain, though I thought of you, and I guess my pain didn't matter anymore. What mattered was the pain I'm going to cause to you. I don't know how you unreadable text do to blood spatter. There goes my evil look, the thing throbbing its last. It doesn't even hurt a bit. even though blood just wells inside my mouth. I just need a little water or something. I'll wash that off. I'm so itchy, damn it. My right arm is all dry and patchy at parts. Wait, I have to scratch. They're itchy gone. I mean, the itch is gone. Maybe I'll just sit here and wait for it to get me. I can't pull the trigger. I want to die, but I can't. People. Upstairs. Not dead. I see. I scratch, itchy, not gone. Apple tasty, VHGTS, really go there any DM. ISNSN at dot et. Don't see me. Ah yes. Tasty.